That's autism for your baby. My hand is whatever it is. If it wants to. Okay, so before we get to my hands, I want you all to know that the very first musical instrument I ever remember playing as a small child was not that. My butt. I could make some pretty wicked rhythms with my ample little tush in a box spring. But as rhythmically satisfying as I found that, even then I found it somewhat sonically wanting. I knew there were more exciting sounds to be had. Something incredibly strange happened in 1963. One day in East Flatbush, Brooklyn, New York. Me. As soon as I could sit up, they plopped me in front of a TV and then carried me up the East Islip, Long Island in the late 1960s. A place as white bread as could be. And every night music poured out of that walnut grain console cathode ray tube. Monstrosity that lost reception when you moved an inch away. 7:30, 8:30. Musical variety. In case you're not old enough to remember or have blissfully forgotten, musical variety shows circa 1970 didn't have a whole lot of musical variety in them as such. Mostly they were about over 30 white guys like Ray Stevens and Andee Joyce singing the pop and rock hits of the day. Most of it was recorded on videotapes and later got erased. Even then, they didn't think these shows would stand the test of time. The changing of days. And I don't know if there's a way to scientifically measure such things or not, but it is possible that Andee Williams was the normiest normie, whoever normie. And the big running joke on his show was that his guests would always snark at him, "Andee, you're weird." The joke, of course, being that he was the only normal person on Earth. Is that even a thing? Andee, Andee, weird. Andee, weird. Oh yes, and then there was the clap and sway thing, all at the same time. I realize that we're in entirely the wrong time signature for that now, and I do apologize. They weren't clapping the waltzes on TV even then. Well, maybe they did on the Lawrence Welk show, but I didn't watch that, so don't quote me. Anyway, I wouldn't have cared if the time signature was 136.6 over 16. I wanted to be there, not here, on this rug, the bad dog who ate everybody's work shoes. I wanted people who would sway with me and love it like I did. Even if it was the Andee Williams singing Creedence Clearwater Revival with those variety show Vegas cheese arrangements. Strings, horns, somehow backup singers, the whole bit. Surviving little bits of this on YouTube. They don't look like somebody in the home movie camera at their console, cathode ray, walnut grain, booby-tooby. They filmed it. I swear I didn't hallucinate it. Andee, weird. Pentecostal church, ladies speaking in tongues on Sunday morning. I had no idea that was even a thing until I was well into chronological adulthood. But at least they weren't doing it all by themselves, and they had Jesus for an excuse. It was deeply embarrassing. I could tell no one. I was in enough trouble already, even though I hardly ever spoke to anyone. Or maybe because I hardly ever spoke to anyone. Andee, weird. Andee, weird. Andee, Autism, contrary to what you might have heard, has always existed. Things exist before they are defined and redefined. I am reasonably certain subatomic particles existed before the 19th century. But when they looked at me, all they saw was a chubby little girl sucking her thumb and turning the pages of a library book. Although never with the same hand as the thumb I was sucking. I never do a library book dirty that way. But I sucked my thumb and turned the pages much too loudly. I bumped into walls. I stubbed my toes and screamed in pain. I was never graceful enough, or quiet enough, or cute enough. Oh, every time I turned around, I made another sound that made people look at me, fear in their eyes, because I knew normal social life was all about telling lies to win a prize. And they knew I knew. Go ahead, say it. Andee, weird. Andee, weird. Andee, weird, 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 weird. Tell it. So, after I got sent to my room a bunch of times for being me, I started to figure out that it wasn't a terrible place to be. The door that closed and locked? Yes, please. So I went into my room and I closed and locked the door and I sat on my bed and tried to imagine myself as a tap dancer on one of those variety shows. But I had stupid feet that couldn't keep a beat. I would never be a professional dancer, but my hands were another matter entirely, a whole different part of me. Yes, my hands were weird. Rhythmically weird. I learned to make canned sounds nice and soft, so I wouldn't tip the grown-ups off. There were no loopers then. I had to mix it in my head. The soft claps, knee pads, and finger snaps, all together mixed up like this. Yeah. So yeah, I was one of those autistic kids who was a compulsive body percussionist. Girl body percussionist. Scary. I was also about 30 or 40 years ahead of any autism diagnosis that included kids who spontaneously let out at age 2 without being taught, or got happy excited over the idea of a sloppy studio audience. And as the screw flooded my mind, I found myself swaying back and forth, softly putting my hands together like this. Yes, I did it on one because they taught me that in whiteness class. And I did some more. It's not. Captain, my fingers like this on my palm made me feel strangely peaceful and calm. I love the feeling of my hands touching, even if I was the only one who ever felt that way in the entire history of opposable thumbs. I call it the sustainable clap. You can clap like this for hours and it won't hurt. I'm very sensitive, it doesn't hurt at all. Why don't you try it? You might irrationally like it. That's it. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, I thought. What if other people like to do this too? Stranger things happen in this world. I know they do. Watch small, this ain't no waltz. This is the stuff my hands do, and that's not my fault. Yes, yes, I know I'm weird, and weird's not a good thing to be around here. I'm trying to stop, but one day you'll see other people will be doing this with me, and I don't mean to embarrass you, but if you think about it, would any of us even be here if no one was weird? I'm so sorry. I didn't realize I was making that much noise. Okay, I understand. These things I did with my hands. It was being me who run all their plans. More will be revealed. Meanwhile, behind that closed and locked door, I kept softly snapping and clapping and flapping. So, I was at this coffee house once, and some skeevy guy comes up to me and he says one word: autism. Obviously, my reputation had preceded me. So I said, yeah? And he said, that's depressing. And I said, for me it isn't. You see, it's all in the framing. Because it's the magnifying effect in my head that makes rhythm extra exciting. I mean, everybody loves rhythm of some kind, and not just humans. I pinky swear that when I was a kid, I had gerbils who would disco dance to 70s disco music. Hijack. Hijack. But in retrospect, it is possible that I was projecting on the gerbils like IMAX. So, with that in mind, I'm going to tell you all about something. I'm sure you'll treat this all with the seriousness that it deserves. It's about my B3, the third trait in the B category of the autism diagnostic criteria. That's the special interest thing. Not all of us have special interests that are all that weird, but I think mine might qualify as weird. I don't want to say I'm obsessed with clapping, because that would make me sound kind of scary and unbalanced and maybe even a little boring. And it's possible that I'm an old person who just doesn't know how to Google, but I've yet to encounter any evidence that there is anyone on the face of the earth who geeks out on clapping like I do. I will admit it. I found squillions of videos of people literally pretending to eat laundry detergent. And a clapping fixation? Nope, that's a bridge too far. Socially unacceptable. Excuse me when I put my guitar on, so I have something to fidget with. Well, actually, I geek out on audience participation in general. I study that stuff like the bug under a microscope. One example, monologue incoming. So during the pandemic lockdowns, or as we Jews like to call it, the Mishigas, I found this video during one of my extended YouTube rabbit hole searches of Otis Redding doing Try a Little Tenderness in Oslo, Norway in 1967. Pretty much the entire audience was white. Probably they'd never seen a show anything like this. So for this song ending his set, he does 3 false endings. He sings the last line, hands the mic to the announcer, runs behind the curtain and back of the stage. The horns blare one last time. The announcer says, Otis Redding. The crowd cheers. Woo! And then, 12 seconds later, he comes back out, grabs the mic, does 2 more choruses, and runs off the stage the same way. He does this a total of 3 times. Each time, faster and more intense than the last one. By that last chorus, he has these blonde Scandinavian kids on their knees, screaming, weeping, speaking in tongues. And and doing what I think used to be called soul clapping back in the Pleistocene epoch, something like this. Try a little tenderness, please try this with me, come on, yeah, try a little tenderness. And show that you love, oh yeah. You got to hold her, squeeze her, let you, oh. My hand has something it wants to say to me. It barges in on the middle of my fun sometimes. What is it, hand? Did you not like what we were doing here? My hand says that I got so involved in the clapping stuff that I forgot to finish that song I started about flapping with an F. It wants me to tell you that my rhythmic fixation doesn't limit me to clapping, that it has other forms of expression. My hand is a genius. Someday the rest of me will catch up with it. So, one thing my hand would like to see is as much flapping as possible. Yes, even those of you who lack autism, you're allowed to flap in here. This is the stuff my hands do when I get a chance to sing for you. This is the stuff my hands do when I feel it hard, I gotta let it loose, yeah. This is the stuff my hands do when I get a chance to sing for you. This is the stuff my hands do, and if you feel like it, then do it too. That's perfect. Yeah. I used to keep myself clenched up, trying to keep my hands still, thinking I could make myself stop by sheer force of will. But my hands knew me better than I did. They said, please, please let us move. So finally one day I gave in and I let myself get soothed by the rhythm of my hands, going up and down or side to side. No more embarrassment or shame. Now I flap with pride, yeah. This is the stuff my hands do when I get a chance to sing for you. This is the stuff my hands do when I feel it hard, I gotta let it loose, yeah. This is the stuff my hands do when I get a chance to sing for you. This is the stuff my hands do, and if you feel like it, then do it too. Oh, you don't have to be autistic to flap, although I admit, it does help. Anyway, no more fingers in my mouth, no more chewing on my nails, no more spending all my days feeling like I'm in movement jail. This is the stuff my hands do, and who do I harm if that's true? This is the stuff my hands do. They're here to show you something new, here to show you something new, here to show you something new. This is the stuff my hands do. Woo! Woo! Yeah. This is a very, very, very low-tech production. Eventually, we're going to be building up to like full AV, and when I do the show in Hillsborough later this month, we're going to have like an actual, like a full-size theater stage, and there's even going to be like a child's bed prop that's being donated by a local furniture company in exchange for us plugging them on the program. Meanwhile, this is awesome. It's 1971. You're a 7-year-old girl. How do you tell the world you have a crush on a percussion instrument? The answer is, you don't. It's 1971. And in 1971, entire families were getting put away for things like that. I'm kidding. You see, children's music back then was all very tame. All flutes and banjos and tra-la-la-la-la. So when I turned on the TV and I saw a little girl my age in a sitcom, a family rock band called the Partridge Family, I was in love with the tambourine, that is. Honor the kid I was, I fessed in this one. The sparkly heart-shaped stickers. And to ensure historical accuracy, I made sure I put them all on crooked, yeah. Also, I get to use the word festooned. Yay, hyperlexia. I bought the albums of Lunchbox Even Tiger Beat and 16 magazine. But this is what it's like to be autistic in 1971 and love the Partridge Family. It means you listen to a song called I'm on my way back home. Over and over and over and over and over again. You saw Tracy playing that song on tambourine on TV, but you can't hear it on the record, and it drives you nuts. And when you try to tell someone at school about it, you get what I call the look. Those of you who don't like autism know what I mean. The one that says, officially, this conversation never happened because I have no idea what you just said. After that, I just had zipped about the Partridge Family for about 5 decades. But eventually, the tambourine ran after it. Tambourine ran after me, that is. And it brought friends with it. 3. So here we go. There was a little girl with red hair on TV, looked about the same age as me. On stage with a family band, making strangers wanna move their feet and hands. She stood behind a magic machine, keeping it sweet and clean. It was the sparkliest thing I had ever seen. It was Tracy's tambourine, that's right. When we get together, our hands get together, and you get what I mean. And it would get even better if my hands could get together. Tracy's tambourine. I could never have a band with my family. And it turned out neither did she. She was an actress, even Tiger Beat magazine said it wasn't her playing the tambourine. And sometimes you couldn't hear her play, but they sure doing it anyway. They figured no one was ever gonna make a scene over Tracy's tambourine. When we get together, our hands get together, if you get what I mean. And it would get even better if my hands would get together. It's Tracy's tambourine, that's right. I want to be normal, so on my bedroom wall, I had a poster of David Cassidy. But he never really meant that much to me. Yeah. Every night I kissed that poster like I saw it. Tiger Beat at 16. But if it had existed, I'd rather put the poster up. Tracy's tambourine, that's right. From that day on, I only wanted toys that would make a fabulous noise. But I never got my hands on one that could give me that kind of satisfaction. But now I've lived to be a real old lady, and I think all the noise I saved might have saved me. Now there's nobody left to be mean to me about Tracy's tambourine. Bar your hands, please. When we get together, our hands get together, if you get what I mean. And it would get even better if my hands would get together. Tracy's tambourine, that's right. From the first time I saw it, my head bobbed, my hands danced, my toes curled. crazy memories help me to get like I was going out of the world. Thank you so much. How about those Mets? I did that at least once. Now can you understand why I never could have been in a band? I don't have a hip bone, even in my hips. I can't smoke, I can't drink, I can't get high, I can't wear heels. I have easily confused fingertips. My head likes good music, but my heart has terrible taste. And on top of all that, I never had a slender waist. I had no programming skill. If I picked up a cup of coffee, I'd spill. I couldn't organize, negotiate, lift gear. All my peers were ever taught to fear. But even though I wanted to, I didn't disappear. So how did I get from there to what you see right here? We're getting there. I'm increasingly of the opinion that children should all have acting lessons, starting in kindergarten. You know what I mean, right? Because when I was about that age, one of my parents' friends asked me, "How are you?" And I said, "I have a stomachache." I was told that was the wrong answer. I was supposed to answer, "I'm fine, how are you?" So I said, "Why do people ask the question if they already know the answer?" 50 years later, they still haven't told me. You see me around this place once or twice, and you talk to me, and you thought I seemed nice. So when you see me, you stop, and you ask me, "How are you?" Well, it's a question with no answer, and we're all supposed to lie. No one ever believes me, even though I try to say I'm doing great, but not so great, you can't relate. So from now on, if you ask me, this will be my reply. Well, since you asked, I sleep like Elvis, and I swim like a Siamese cat, and I probably should be doing the opposite of that. And I never did fit in, not even in a loony bin. And how are you? How are you? How are you? Oh, and by the by, I stunk up building self-esteem and I flunked serenity. So how are you breathing next to someone like me? I don't want to be scary to talk to, just scary to abuse. And how are you? How are you? How are you? I don't know. When I was little, somebody told me they had a stomachache. I think my answer would have been, "Really? How bad is it?" You know, that could be a sign that something was really wrong, right? So I started thinking, if words don't actually mean things, then why don't we all just talk in meow liners all the time? Like we're all in a cat food commercial. No language barriers ever, anywhere. Everybody speaks meow. Everything is theater, isn't it? This is why the holistic world needs autistic people. We dissolve bullshit on contact. First, they have to let us in the door. Just kidding. I never say it out loud. I'd rather you thought I was one of the crowd. Isn't that the whole reason people ask, "How are you?" How about those Mets? How are you? Oh gods. How am I what? How is my what? There's 3 seconds to sort through all the data I've got to find one thing you'd find fascinating. But I'd be fascinated, believe it or not. Someone said, "Well, I sleep like Elvis, and I sing like a Siamese cat, and I probably should be doing the opposite of that." And I never did fit in, not even in a loony bin. I suck at building self-esteem and I flaunt serenity. So how are you breathing next to someone like me? I don't want to be scary to talk to, just scary to abuse. And how are you? How are you? How are you? Oh, so many conversations all at once. Not one of them for me. They're not in the market for that kind of honesty. They want to polish, self-edited authenticity. What are you gonna do? Some people hate kittens too. Speaking of that, well, sleep like Elvis, sing like a Siamese cat. And I probably should be doing the opposite of that. And I never did fit in, not even in a loony bin. And how are you? How are you? How are you? Oh, and by the by, I still got building self-esteem and I flaunt serenity. So how are you with breathing next to someone like me? I don't want to be scary to talk to, just scary to abuse. And how are you? How are you? How are you? And me the mustard, I think I'll fly a kite. Look what we started here, huh? As I understand exactly what you mean. So, I guess you could say that this song is indirectly about clapping. So, when the time comes, I would love it if you could all do double single hand claps on the choruses. I'll show you where. I was a good girl, I really was. I wanted my parents to have friends and keep my grandmothers off their backs. I felt their pain. So, in 1973, in my quixotic quest to become a normal kid, and as one didn't use words like quixotic, I ordered tickets to a TV kid show called Wonderama, where I could indulge my autistic fixation in getting to clap and sway in a studio audience without seeming too odd. Or at least that was the plan. Sunday morning, beanbags on the floor, Cheerios, grape jelly, jammies with feet. If you missed it, you missed it. There was no way to record it. There was no archive that might never repeat. It was on at 8 for 3 hours straight, with a Bugs Bunny cartoon or two as bait. We didn't have church or Hebrew class like others did. This was Sunday school for non-religious kids. Alright, here's that chorus. You clap like this with me, please. I'm talking, yeah, I'm talking like the one and only Wonderama forever. Wonderama forever. Yes, it went on forever. Or was it 3 hours? Boom! Whatever. Perfect. Fifth graders thought of Bob McAllister, the host, as their cool uncle. He recorded an album of children's songs called Oh Gee, It's Great to Be a Kid. I'm not kidding, it was really called that. We were but simple to please then, people. All you had to do was not treat us like houseplants with report cards. There was a studio audience of only kids, and naturally I wanted it. It was hosted by a man who acted like he cared about who we really were and where we'd been. He said, kids are people too, accompanied by pre-recorded banjo and kazoo. He asked us to sing about all our good news and did 10-minute rock star interviews. Alright, here we go again. I'm talking about only Wonderama forever. as good to clap and sway in the studio audience as I thought it would. At least until I got back to school the next day. I got in just before the age cut off. I thought the class would be impressed that I was on TV. But when they found out it was a children's show, they spent the rest of the semester mocking me. The bikes they gave away weren't even 10 speeds. I didn't dare tell them my deepest need was to be part of a crowd and clap and sway and dance my unpopularity away. You know, a funny little detail I love is Neil Sedaka was on and we sang Bad Blood. He said, I can't sing that word that rhymes with itch, which we all heard him sing on the radio a jillion times, but whatever. But he pulled it off without a hitch and then yelled on air, I remembered! And I went home with a personalized necklace made out of bagel and lentils, which got eaten by mealybugs within 2 weeks. And no one ever took a picture of it because that was expensive then, and also nobody really cared. But I always remember, Wonder Woman forever and ever, amen. Wonder Woman forever. Yes, I wonder forever. Or was it 3 hours? 3 hours. 3 hours. Whoa. Thank you. Cable comes off before you hang up guitar. Oh, the things you learn when you are mechanically disinclined. Yeah. Well, that's right. I was supposed to keep this on. Thank you, teleprompter. It's not really a teleprompter. As I got into double-digit ages, the social stakes started going through the roof. I considered it an achievement if I could get through a day in school without most of my classmates ignoring me completely instead of actively ganging up on me. Did I say without or with? It was supposed to be without most of my class. No. How about those Mets? I considered it an achievement if I could get through a school day with most of my classmates ignoring me completely. Yes, that's it. Instead of actively ganging up on me. I actually liked it when people felt sorry for me, because that meant they didn't hate me. And yet, here I am, and recently, 2 different people and 2 different stories in the same week saw me in all my purple and sparkles, and they said these very words: I love everything about you. Yes, people who didn't exist when I was in school said this to me. So this version of me got in the car, drummed on the steering wheel, and then started singing. I love everything about you. No one better badmouth you. Let them go and doubt you. One day they'll wonder what the world never did without you. Do-do-do-do-do. That's right. Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. And that is how a sting becomes a song. And that is how the theater of life became fun for me instead of a burden. But first I had a gauntlet of sticker bushes to get through over the next few decades. I would need some help. Ain't that a lot of help? I wasn't sure I would ever get it. You know what? Put this over here. As I can. This is supposed to be here. When I was 13, I discovered Rolling Stone and Cream and Crawdaddy magazines and The Village Voice. And I became consumed with developing what they considered good taste in music. I thought if I could remake myself as a hip, cool critic, or maybe be a David Byrne nerdish type in a hip, cool band, people would flock to me. Good people, smart people people who wouldn't mind either my 4-letter words or my $4 words, neither which were supposed to come out of a lovable girl's mouth. I'd have actual friends. Maybe I'd even have a boyfriend. This stuff is a little hard to talk about. Can we do that together? Just take a deep breath and go. Yeah. Then I found out that in order for these people to accept me, I had to not just like the music they like, or reject the music that they rejected. I remember my mom taking me to see Harry Chapin and James Taylor, favorites of hers who hit cool critics of the time made fun of all the time. And although I liked some of the songs, I felt like I had to try to make myself not like them all that much. When they had clap-along songs, I honestly couldn't remember whether I was clapping along or not. I suspect I wasn't. I could not let myself feel it when I was in that moment. Probably my mom thought I was just bored and had PMS or something. That was the thing. But later on, when I was alone, I thought about the moments in those concerts where they did the clapping stuff, and I felt it just as hard as I ever did. Okay, so this might not work at all. This is like a total experiment that has never been done by me anywhere. So it might be a complete mess, but we'll all make a big mess together. But I want us to try to make the sound that got into me. Or part of the crowd was clapping all 4 beats, and part of it was clapping on every other beat. And yeah, whiteness lessons, block cube. We'll sort that out later, maybe. Meanwhile, if you know this song, and I think there's a pretty good chance you might, you can sing along with it. But randomly divide the room right around here. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but that'll be A, B. Okay, so we'll start with A. We do this. I close my eyes at night, wondering where would I be without you in my life, and keep doing it. Everything I did was just a bore. All the places I've been, seen, I've been there before. And you brighten up all my days with a love so sweet in so many ways. I wanna stop and thank you, baby. I wanna stop and thank you, baby. Oh yeah, how sweet it is to be loved by you. How sweet it is to be loved by you. How sweet it is to be loved by you. How sweet it is to be loved by you. Thank you. See, that felt good, right? I mean, one thing I have to make a note to myself to remember in the future is turn down the volume on the guitar when I do that bit. That's the first time I've ever done it, so.
No, it's great.
Learning curve. But, so to paraphrase another soul music classic, if clapping like that is wrong, then what's so great about being right? But, yeah, that's modern me talking, not teenage me. Teenage me can only see the obstacles to acceptance by anybody in any group ever. And this was the biggest obstacle of them all. An even bigger one than not being pretty or not having nimble fingers or not being able to spend 5 minutes in a rock club without wheezing from all the cigarette smoke. Cool people in the late 70s did not have a clapping monster in them. We do that. Yeah, that's right. librarian. I think that might have been my dream profession. But I had a huge album collection, and it was alphabetized by recording artist. And if I had more than one album by an artist, I would have them arranged in release dates. May I remind you that this was the late 70s, and girl-shaped people did not do this. And to make it even more festive, the rest of my room looked like Keith Moon and Tasmanian Devil were roommates. I knew I'd never get a boyfriend. I kept being the way I was. Never, ever. Spoiler alert, I have a boyfriend. Was there such a thing as feeling the music too much? Or feeling it wrong? All I could do was dream of a world where I finally got it right and people made room for me in that warm bath of acceptance. A world where I could not just dance to my own drummer, but actually be the drum. Not just for me, but for others too. Dared I dream? Dare I dream? Shall we dance all this ballerina, baby elephants, yeah. No. Is there anything that could make you want to dance at a time like this, at a time like this? Get caught up in a feeling you can't dismiss, that would make you want to dance at a time like this. Could anything make you want to pump your fist at a time like this, at a time like this? Could there be an impulse you can't resist that would make you pump your fist at a time like this? Was there ever a good time just to go and